you saw two scared young women being cornered by three angry cops in a dark bar, or would you step in? He did. A single dad, a veteran with nothing left to lose, a broken bar and no idea those eight girls could change his life forever. It was a stormy Friday night in a small-town bar just outside of Nashville. The old ceiling fan buzzed lazily, and the jukebox hummed a country tune that nobody cared to listen to. At a corner table sat Jack Turner, a 42-year-old ex-Marine with tired eyes and a worn leather jacket. He wasn't there to drink or just to forget. Ever since his wife passed away 2 years ago, Jack had been raising his 10-year-old son, Ben, alone. Nights like this gave him a brief escape from the endless grind of bills, loneliness, and memories he'd rather bury. He was nursing a cup of black coffee when the bar door swung open, letting in a gust of rain and two young women who looked completely out of place. They were twins, identical, mid-20s, beautiful but serious. Their soaked jackets clung to them, and their eyes darted around, scanning the room like soldiers entering a hostile zone. Jack noticed right away. Years in the military taught him to read people fast. Something was off about these two. They took a booth near the back and ordered water. Moments later, three uniformed police officers walked in. The bar quieted. The men weren't there for a drink, they were looking for someone. Jack's instincts screamed trouble when he saw them eyeing the twins. "Evening, ladies," one of the cops sneered as they approached. "You're a long way from home. Mind showing some ID?" The girls tensed up. One of them, the one with the small scar above her eyebrow, spoke softly. "We're just passing through. We don't want trouble." But trouble had already found them. Jack watched, jaw tightening. The tallest cop grabbed one of the girls by the arm when she hesitated. The other officer chuckled darkly, muttering something about pretty liars. The bartender looked away. No one was going to intervene. No one but Jack. He stood up slowly, his boots echoing on the wooden floor. "Hey," he said calmly, voice steady but firm. "Why don't you let the lady go?" The tallest officer turned. "Mind your business, old man." Jack took a step closer. "My business is when a man puts his hands on someone who clearly doesn't want that." The bar fell silent. The air thickened. Jack's heart pounded, not from fear, but from instinct. He'd been in enough firefights to know when a situation was about to blow up. The cop smirked, but before he could react, Jack's hand shot forward, a precise, controlled, a twist, a shove, and the officer's arm was behind his back before anyone could blink. The man yelped in pain as Jack released him and stepped back, ready for anything. The other two officers reached for their batons, but then something no one expected happened. The twin with the scar pulled out a badge. "Federal Bureau of Investigation. You just assaulted undercover agents." The entire bar froze. Even Jack's expression changed, his jaw dropping slightly. "FBI?" he muttered under his breath. The officers went pale. The bartender stopped polishing the glass midair. The shorter twin placed her badge down on the table beside her untouched water. "We were tracking a drug route using this bar as a front. You just compromised our operation." Jack blinked. "I thought you were in trouble." "We were," said the twin with the scar, giving him a faint, grateful smile. "But not the kind you think." Within minutes, backup arrived. The three corrupt cops were cuffed and taken out. The bar owner was questioned and later arrested for aiding them. The adrenaline faded, and silence filled the space once more. Jack sat back down, rubbing his forehead. "You're telling me I just interfered with an FBI operation?" The sisters exchanged a glance before the Scardonia agent Maya Colia sat across from him. "Technically, yes," she said, smiling. "But you also saved us from blowing our cover. Those men were dirty. We didn't expect them to show up tonight." Jack let out a low laugh. "Well, I'm glad I didn't get shot for being a good Samaritan." The other twin, Agent Nora Cole, leaned forward. "You're ex-military, right?" Jack raised an eyebrow. "How'd you guess?" "The stance, the tone, the way you disarmed that guy without breaking his wrist. You're either a soldier or a ghost." He chuckled softly. "Marine Corps, did 2 tours. Now I'm just a single dad trying to keep the lights on." For the first time, the twins relaxed. The tension melted into warmth as they spoke. They thanked him, but it was more than gratitude, it was respect. Maya pulled out a card. "If you ever need anything, Call this number. The FBI could use people like you." Jack took it, unsure if she was joking. "Yeah, I don't think the Bureau's looking for single dads who make sandwiches and fix toy cars." Nora smiled. "You'd be surprised what kind of heroes we look for." Days later, Jack was back home making breakfast for Ben when there was a knock on the door. He opened it to find the same twin agents standing there, dressed in civilian clothes and holding a box of donuts. "Agent Cole and Cole," Jack said with a smirk. "Didn't think I'd see you again." Maya smiled. "We didn't either, but we've been reassigned. The case you helped crack led to a major bust and we thought we owed you breakfast." As they sat in his small kitchen, laughter filled the air. Ben instantly took a liking to the twins, asking them if they really carried guns and chased bad guys. They grinned and played along. For the first time in a long time, Jack's house felt alive again. But the real surprise came when Maya placed an envelope on the table. Inside was an offer for a security consultant for a federal task force, flexible hours, good pay, work that mattered. Jack looked up, stunned. "You serious?" Nora nodded. "You stood up for two strangers when everyone else looked away. That's the kind of man this country still needs." He swallowed hard, emotions catching in his throat. "Guess it's hard to stop protecting people once you've started." Months later, Jack stood beside the twin agents at an official FBI briefing. The same man who once sat alone at a bar was now part of something bigger, not because he wanted recognition but because he believed in doing what was right, no matter the risk. As the meeting ended, Maya glanced at him and smiled. "So, still think you're just a single dad?" Jack grinned, adjusting his new badge. "Single dad, veteran, and now a broken bar federal consultant. Yeah, life's funny that way."